T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and...
Welcome, everybody. We are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic.
UNIQDNA.
This is the original Jeek podcast.
Gang. I don't see no competition in my face. If we do, then we just move them out the way. I don't even need no money in my face. Hold on. Give me the money when I finish with the gang.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the original Jeek podcast. I am your host, Rockinmrmagic, joined back by the two-time appearing guest host, my man, PR Pat Rhoads. Pat, welcome back.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Good to be back.
Yes, indeed. Well, today is March 28th, and today is opening day, Major League Baseball. Exciting day.
It's like a holiday.
Yes, it is. It is a holiday.
Should be a holiday.
It's a holiday for baseball fans. And this particular baseball fan is going to be proud and say that my Detroit Tigers currently are undefeated. That's not going to last long, but I'm going to enjoy it while it's still here.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of moving, a lot of shaking around in the world of baseball. Machado moving, Trout staying, Harper moving. Let's talk about these big things, particularly in the two money men and Mike Trout staying in Los Angeles and Harper staying in Philly. But Trout staying in LA. What sense does that make to you? Because to me, it sounds like he's going to get his money and he's not worried about winning.
I don't know. It goes both ways. I don't know. Being that like an organization drafted him, I think that his heart's kind of in it. I personally thought that he was a slam dunk to come to Philly because, I mean, he goes hunting with Carson Wentz. I see him at a couple Flyers games. He's like lives right down the road. So I thought, hey man, the Phillies are going to spend some money maybe down the road. You had a Harper and Trout outfield. I mean, that's one heck of a team. But,
yeah. And if it's anything, even if you're not winning, you're selling a lot of tickets.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it then. But I was watching the Phillies today. I mean, I haven't seen that place look like that since 2008 when they won the World Series. So
yeah,
I mean, the aura of him. I mean, I still think that I debate with my friends over this kind of stuff. I think he's going to be the best player of all time when it's all said and done, right? So not now. But by the time that he's done, I mean, who knows how long he plays till? But the number he throws up, there's actually a thing on Fangraphs. I like to read them, look at all the numbers with baseball and whatnot. Is he actually took a discount for what he got paid? Fangraphs had him. They do an algorithm on your numbers per season and what they'd peg you at, and he was actually $500,000.
Wow.
So make of that what you want. But I mean, I think he's worth every penny. The only thing I don't like, I've ridden the Angels on this for years, is they have failed to surround or even compete with the probably best player of all time on your team. I mean,
yeah, that's a problem. Like that's why I say he's not really serious about winning, because the Angels, in the next 12 years, don't seem like they're going to be worth anything to talk about except for Mike Trout.
Yeah, I agree. And again, you're not going to beat Houston. I mean, they just dummied my Rays today. I mean, they're extremely good, top to bottom,
and they're still young.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And all those guys. I mean, maybe they won't be able to keep all of them, but a lot of them love like AJ Hinch, the manager for them, like what he's done, like atmosphere wise, is like you get guys like that in there, like they're gonna want to stay.
Yeah,
like, guys love to win. So when you've been with guys your whole career, like Altuve, Springer, Verlander is born a winner. Who else? Correa, Bregman. Actually, he was another name I was going to mention. He just got paid too, so they locked him up for a while. And I thought he took a pay cut. He's a superstar in the making as well. So
yeah, he's a stud.
But I just think like even like I told you, I'm a Rays fan, right? So not the most payroll in the world to work with.
Right.
Right. But you know what? They have analytics guys on there that come in and they know what they have and this is what we can do. This is who we can get. But they draft and develop and trade well. I think that the Angels have failed to do any of that. I mean, they have a couple like blue chip prospects because you pick so high in the drafts because you aren't a good team. Because
you're not good, yeah.
So to touch on your Tigers, yeah, your Tigers are probably like you got Casey Mize last year. That's a front arm starter. Like that kid from Auburn. I don't know if you've seen him, but
yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, he's a flamethrower. But like the Angels have been just somewhere in limbo, trading prospects for kind of mediocre guy. Like again, Drelton Simmons, like he's very good defensively, handles the lumber pretty well. But like like did you really need to go trade 3 of your best prospects to get him? I mean, I don't know.
Doubtful.
And again, I think that the timetable for it is like I just hope Trout sees a postseason. You need a guy like that to – you want viewers on TV and whatnot, like you need to get a guy like that in there. I think he's only made it once.
Yeah, once that I can recall.
And they were a first-round bounce. I don't think it was close.
No, I think it was what? I think it was 3-1?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was a short series.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but I think my biggest concern for Trout is Trout can hit as many home runs, drive in as many RBIs as he wants, steal as many bases, but – at the end of the day, Houston. Anaheim has nobody that's a frontline starter that can like just change the game. If you look, all the current starters, I think Skaggs has the lowest ERA. I think they're all like well above 4, some in the 5 ERA range over like a good amount of innings, which is very concerning.
Oh yeah, they have no solid starters really. And, if your defense is giving up tons of points, it don't matter how many home runs and ribbies that, like you said, like Trout hits, you're still going to lose a ton of games.
Right, and I think that's my biggest concern for him is that he's a once-in-a-generation player, and it's like, man, like you can't – you really hate to see a guy like that wasted. I mean, like, I thought for sure he was going to sign somewhere else just because of the fact, like we said, you're not going to win. But, I mean, hey, if he wants to – in their defense, I will say if it's one thing, guys are going to want to go play with him. But I don't know.
But nobody seems to be doing that.
Right.
Because the organization is a hot mess. So why would you go there and when you can tell they're not committed to winning? And you mentioned that he could be the greatest player of all time, and he definitely has the talent, and the numbers are insane. The numbers he puts up, they're just
absolutely
they're out of this world. But to me, he can never – kind of like in the Jordan versus LeBron debate, where LeBron has won and Mike hasn't won at all. LeBron has won a lot less than Jordan and not as well. So where you look at a player like Trout, yeah, he's got great stats, but if he goes down without a single postseason series win, let alone a World Series, can you really call him the best ever where – you've got Ruth, you've got Aaron, you've got Mays, you've got all these greats who could do so much, and these guys are winners. And you look at Mike is like, yeah, amazing. What did the team do? What did he do for the team? Did he drive the team to be better? Did he get them over the hump anywhere? It's like, no, he put butts in the seats. Like,
yeah,
legacy wise, that's a big detriment.
Yeah, and I don't know, like that's the difference we'll probably get to is between him and Harper is he is one of those guys that, he's really not like in a lot of commercials. He doesn't do a lot of that. He's kind of
he's very down home, very just laid back type of dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would build I would build my team. He'd be the first player I took.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. If I got a fancy draft, I'm taking Mike Trout.
He's like your ideal player. Is like keeps his nose out of trouble, right? Gets after it when he needs to. The performance pretty much speaks for itself. I really don't think there's, he's unbelievable. But like, I'm looking at it right now. I actually just brought it up. Someone we should talk on Ohtani with the Angels.
Yes,
he's unbelievable. He can't stay healthy. So here's a surprise.
Right.
And this is going to come as a shock because it's like the first time no one's ever really spent money, or the first time someone's put a bunch of money into a Japanese pitcher and he comes over in his first year and gets hurt.
What? No, that's never happened before.
and make of it what you want. I would never sign a Japanese pitcher. It's just because of like statistically proven, every Japanese pitcher that has come over has either gotten hurt or just not succeeded.
Well, no.
Tanaka's okay, but his is working up his arm right now, and he's been. I mean, but all of them were kind of one-hit wonder. Tanaka's pretty good. Daisuke
was a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Nomo got here. He did get hurt, but he had a good career afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like, Ohtani makes tons of money, but he's not doing that team any good.
And I'm trying to think of the one the Yankees had, the really big dude from Japan, the really big pitcher.
I forget. Oh, but here I'm looking at the rotation, and it's Tyler Skaggs, a sub-4. Matt Harvey plays for the Angels now.
Wow.
Yes, he does.
I didn't know he was still in the majors.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean,
is Matt Stairs somewhere on somebody's bench still?
He's DH for them. Yeah. Him, Trevor Cahill, who was like 6 years ago with the A's.
Yeah.
But it's you look at the rotation and you're like, well, the offense doesn't really come out of me, minus Trout. But I mean, the only other name would be Simmons. Cozart's okay. Pujols is I love him to death, but he's
a shell of himself.
Yeah, and it's just like if you looked at, Houston has even Oakland. Oakland has a pretty good farm system, and you probably won't beat Oakland or Seattle either.
Yeah.
Texas, them in Texas. Texas is like they had their time when it was.
Well, they never should let Ron Washington go, in my opinion.
Yeah. But
they
when they almost lost when David Freese hit the home run with the Cardinals. The Rangers had the World Series won.
Yeah.
And that team was very good.
Yes, they were.
But again, it's your time coming goes. But I don't know. I just don't foresee, and I feel bad for him. I just don't foresee him winning anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see it either. And I'm thinking, all right, Mike, you're going to make a lot of money no matter where you go. So, why not go to a place where you have a shot at winning, where you have a shot at to me with sports, especially if you care about your legacy. And if you just care about his legacy, then that's cool. It's his life, it's his legacy, it's his career. But to me, as an athlete, as a competitor, there's one thing they can't take from you, and that's winning. That's etched in the history books. Someone will always score more points than somebody else. They'll hit more, home runs. They'll steal more bases. They'll score more goals. They'll hit more, get more rebounds, more block shots. Regardless of what sport you're in, someone is going to eventually, because of how the games eventually change and evolve, they're going to outdo you in some statistical manner. Mm-hmm. But they can't take championships from you. They can't take pennants from you. They can't take winning away. Yeah. And if you don't win, eventually you become one of those forgotten greats that people are like, hey, oh, you know what? This guy was really, really, really good. But most of the time when you're talking about greats, you're going to be talking about champions. And I feel bad for such a generational talent to just wallow, in Anaheim it's still in Anaheim, Los Angeles Angels, Anaheim. Yeah, just to have him wallow there in obscurity where he should be the showcase. Now, I'm not for rigging leagues, but you would think Major League Baseball would be doing everything they can to get this guy in the postseason because he delivers. And if he delivers the same heroics that he does during the regular season in the playoffs, you have a face of the league. He may not be a Michael Jordan type figure or a DJ or a young A-Rod or a Griffey where they're smiling on the commercials and stuff. But that's a face, a good guy, no problem, like you said, no trouble with the law, not beating women, he's not gambling, he's not doing all these crazy stuff, that you can make the face of your league. And the league needs a face. Major League Baseball right now is probably tied for third or itching down fourth in the big four professional leagues. Like, people aren't talking about it as much. And you need a face for this league, and he should be it.
Yeah, and I just was looking at like top prospects. The only one who really jumps out is, and he is very good, is Joe Adele. He's very good. I think he plays outfield. Yeah. But like other than that, it's like, all right, well, that's it. I mean, if I was them, I would start looking to, maybe unload, get some arms. I mean, I think that's their biggest weakness. The offense can do what it's going to do. I mean, guys are going to get hot, guys are going to get cold. But, like, the one thing, like, if you look at every single postseason team that has won, there's been, like, 1 through 4 have been, like Boston last year. I think I called it right last year when we started the preview. I called Boston to win.
You did.
I'll just do that. I mean, again, like, they're very deep. And I picked them over New York because I thought they were a more complete team. Well,
and you were right. They were a more complete team. And somehow, in the first time in his career, David Price decided to show up in the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah, to say the least, I agree. And to touch on the thing with Trout, the only thing I would say I disagree with is, like the baseball of the winning thing. Basketball really stands prominent because of, like, the old MJ versus Jordan. Well, he has more rings and he has more points, right?
Well, it's a different game, and you play both sides of the ball, really.
Right.
It's in where baseball,
right.
You're judged differently what you do at the plate compared to what you do in the outfield or the infield.
Regardless if Trout won 10 titles or not, I mean, yeah, that's going to have an impact on his legacy. But like you said, is like you have this almost like superhuman-esque guy, and like you said, like wallowing in Anaheim, like.
Yeah, and where we should be seeing, like, I think of the baseball greats, as a kid watching, Wide World of Sports or watching early ESPN, and watching Strawberry hit these crazy jacks and watching Doc Gooden strike out these guys, and the highlights and the things that are constantly being shown on repeat are what happens in the postseason. Like, no one is really showing these great moments from the regular season. I see Des Eckersley give up that home run to Kirk Gibson on one freaking leg. Postseason, all these great moments. Joe Carter, all these amazing moments. Like, Joe Carter gets talked about so much, and he was an above average player. Like, Joe Carter wasn't a superstar, but Joe Carter probably has one of the most seminal moments in baseball history.
Yes.
And he will never be forgotten because of that. Like, Trout needs to be accumulating those type of moments. Reggie Jackson, Curtin Call style, big money postseason moments. And he's not going to get them in Anaheim.
Well, have you seen the plays that he makes? I mean,
yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, I'll never forget. I was watching it live when he was in Baltimore, and he robbed a home run, and his hip was over the fence.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and he does it like night in, night out. Like, it's like, he's got it. Like, don't worry about it. And it's just like, yeah, like I agree. I don't know. You just hate to see the guy like that in Anaheim. I think a little bit of his kindness might have played into a weakness, like, oh, well, they drafted me and I'm going to stay here and everything's going to be good. And I think a couple years down the road, which I think we're going to get into soon, is you're going to look over and see Philly and they're going to be like, oh, man. Like,
yeah. Like, what could have been, a great, outfield pairing, between him and Harper. Like,
the greatest of all time. No doubt.
It'd be hard pressed to come up with a better one. Like, it's like what outfield do you compare them to? Unless you're going way, 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 way back when there were like 8 teams and and the Yankees had all the good players but 2. Like,
But then, I mean, imagine McCutchen, Trout, and Harper in the outfield. I mean, those are 3 guys that have won an MVP in your outfield.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
all I'm gonna say is Philly has some money that they want to spend, and maybe they could take that contract on. I don't know.
But you'd have to trade for him then, and like, what do you?
I would not care.
I wouldn't care. I mean, to me, I would do, an old basketball thing. Is a lot of these GMs would. It's known that former GM of the Pistons, when he got the job, his first day on the job, he called the Lakers and said, "I'll give you everybody on my roster for Magic Johnson, like whatever it takes."
Yeah.
Obviously, except for Harper, whatever it takes, I'll give them to you. You know, who do you want? What do you want? How many picks do you want? How many players do you want? Which players do you want? Whatever it takes, you get those two, and you build around them, and you build up your pitching staff. Because those two are going to bring the offense, you know, and you form an order around them. You get some guys who can play some good defense. Even if you just get you just get contact hitters just to get on base and let them to be your big bats. And you get a bunch of guys that are great defensively. They can make contact, and you get yourself a good pitching staff, and then you can make some noise.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of teams that have done it, and a lot of teams, I think. You got to realize who you are.
Yes, what your team's identity is.
And that's not saying, all right, well, we're not to pick on it, like the Tigers. No offense.
Oh, they'll pick on them. I do. They're trash.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're trash, but I mean, it's a cycle of baseball, like your teams that were not so good. I mean, remember when everyone laughed at Houston a couple years ago? The Astros are so bad. 50-win team. Only team to eclipse 100-something losses. Well, they did it right. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, but I mean, look at them now. They're on
people forget that. I mean, it's not that long ago, you know, where Clemens and Pettit and Beltran had them in the World Series. It's not like they've been terrible forever.
Yeah. Them. Who else? I mean, Oakland just amazes me. I mean, time after time, you got guys like hitting in the play. Like, who is this?
Yeah, like what? Some guy we've never ever heard of.
It worked. But yeah, Billy Beane, what he done is nobody can hold anything to that.
But they don't win it all.
Yeah, but you know what? I would stand up for them. Just saying, like have someone else come in and try to do it then.
Well, yeah, I hear you, but it's like, if you're getting to the playoffs and you're doing this, you know, with this your great innovative system, but you're not winning it all, it's like, then is that even your goal? Like, sometimes I wonder if Billy Beane's goal is just to field competitive teams and not actually win it all.
Huh. I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, to bring my point is, so like, with the Harper thing, right? Harper is a complete end of the spectrum from the thing we talked about with Trout.
Yes.
So, you know, like Trout and Harper in their career will make more than what the Rays, Marlins, and the Oakland A's payroll is per year.
Oh, yeah.
Trout's 430 he got, or Harper's 330 even, is actually a little bit more than an entire team's payroll.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always use it as like Boston and New York as an example. I mean, Sandoval or Bonilla, there's a great one.
Bobby.
Yeah, I mean,
Bobby, you realize Bobby's going to still be getting paid till, I think they said.
It's coming up.
No,
Is that what it's on?
I don't think so.
I mean, it feels like it's been going on for like 19 years.
Well, the thing is, they deferred. I mean, he gets paid $1 million a year, and they deferred it for maybe it was 20. It feels like it's going to go on till like, it feels like it's going to live longer than we will.
It's probably been I forget when the date is, but I'm convinced that every day is he's just going to get $1 million for the rest of his life. He's like, you know what? Well,
yeah, no, it doesn't come till July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day. Okay, so his contract does not stop getting paid till 2035.
How long?
2035.
Oh my goodness!
I
forgot how long that was.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
That's just
awful.
That's just, he's like, yo, whoever his agent was,
bravo.
Yeah, for real. That is still the best negotiation in all of sports history, because the man hasn't played since what? The early 2000s?
If that, yeah, I would say about that.
And he's been paid. He's going to be paid all the way till 2035.
Well, I mean, that proves my point here. So could you imagine if like Oakland had to do that? Like that's $1 million. That's like 2 players.
Yeah.
So like, imagine if you didn't have 2 young prospects that could come up and throw for you, right? So, I mean, who makes the most for Oakland? I'm gonna have to go ahead. I don't even know. I'm trying to think. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like Simeon, the shortstop. I mean, he probably makes a pretty penny. Probably okay. A whopping $1.2 million a year, but like, I mean, that's big for Oakland. But I mean, like what they do.
Well, let's see.
I mean, what is Boston still play? Like Sandoval's getting $80 million over the next 3 years.
Yeah,
and they just won a World Series. So
okay, looks like Chris Davis is making the most. Chris Davis has got a $16.5 million base salary,
which is undercut for what he is. I mean, what he like? How many homers do you have? Like the last 3 years, he's had like 50 homers, doesn't he?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody like any other team in the MLB would kill to have that and give him 50 without a doubt.
Then you got Piscotty at $7 million.
Great player.
So Soraya at 6.5. Trending at 6.4.
But Trinan makes his money. Trinan's an elite closer.
Oh yeah, Trinan's excellent. Fire's at $6 million. Simeon at 5.9.
All right.
Pettit at 5.5. For some reason, Fernando Rodney is getting $5.25 million.
Yeah.
I didn't know Fernando was still. He's 42 freaking years old. Like, put him out to the pasture.
Only got to throw an inning. That's it. Maybe 2 some nights on their best nights when it's warm out.
Oh my God, I still have nightmares about Fernando Rodney in Detroit. Estrada is getting $4 million. Profar 3.6. Hendricks 2.15.
That's about right.
Kanhana a little over 2. Kenneth Morales, okay, $12 million.
Who they just got today, actually.
Yeah.
So what would you just rattle off there? Like what, 6, 7, 8 players for what? $45 million?
Like 10 players for roughly between Davis and Morales, you're talking about 30.
Okay.
So I would say about let's say 60 to 70 million between those 10 players.
What they pay Pablo Sandoval 80-something million to not play, and I don't think he's played a inning of baseball in 2 years. So,
yeah. The thing is, but behind Morales, you've only got 5 more guys that are above $1 million, and that's Grossman at 2, Anderson, Butcher, Hundley, Fagley, all barely above $1 million, and the rest of the squad, which is another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, are just barely above 500,000.
Those are the young prospect guys, yeah.
Yep, Trevino, like you mentioned, Laureano, Barreto, Montes.
Trevino, local guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're not spending much money.
Yeah, and I mean, on the topic of money is Harper, because that's who I mean, I don't know. Like the process for Harper to sign. Well, Harper and Machado were interesting. I don't know how much you kept up with it, but
I kept up with it pretty well because I was interested.
Any part of Machado.
To me, he's never been that impressive.
I think as a player, he's very impressive, right? A little too flashy. But like for what he's openly come out and said, I really don't care about hustling. I don't think it's a part of the game. Right?
Yeah, he's
like cut 3/4 of the MLB teams out and just say like whatever. I don't. You're not that great for the money you're asking. Right. So I mean, San Diego. I mean, I think the difference between him and Harper was like, all right, yeah, I'll go make. What did he get? Like 2? I forget. He got a pretty good check. I forget what it is, but yeah, I'll just go play in San Diego. Why? Because no one cares if you're in. I mean, like, there's no pressure for the San Diego Padres to go anywhere. Yet.
None. Yeah.
Yet. Right? So, like, and to my next point is I would rather take Harper because Harper goes out there for 9 innings and, like, basically kills himself. Like, running.
Oh, yeah. Harper works hard. Now, Machado, like you said, he's lazy, and he's admittedly so. But his deal, if you don't recall, is 10 years, $300 million.
Yeah. I would take Harper over him. Also,
well, yeah, Machado's not worth $300 million.
Yeah.
He's not going to make you $300 million.
I mean, he might. I mean, in San Diego, it's something to go out and watch the game. And with
I don't know.
Tatis made the lineup, that's an interesting guy. Number 2 prospect in baseball. And they didn't actually send him down, which I respect a lot of, because that's a pretty big issue now. Is like Vlad Guerrero's kid for Toronto.
Yes,
absolute beast.
He's a stud. I watched him. I'm like, wow.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
They're and I would agree with the GM here. I mean, I would send you down for the first 3 weeks and then call you up, because like you are that good. I want like a year more of you.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but they didn't do that. San Diego did not do that with Tatis. I mean, granted, he's going to get a long-term deal. I mean, hopefully he pans out. But, I mean, again, Machado's going to go there, go ride a jet ski all day, and then come play the game at night. No pressure, whatever. Harper, did you watch the Phillies today?
I didn't. I watched I was watching my Tigers. I was watching Zimmerman have that no until the 7th. Yeah. That was nice. He was throwing it well.
Always has. But I mean, I watched it today. Like I love the Phillies, man. Like I mean, I think I go to like 50 Iron Pigs games a summer. I keep up with it. I mean, Harper ran out today and was like fist pumping with the fans. Like the whole place was screaming and cheering.
Oh yeah, he's hyped.
Like I just don't see that with Machado. I really don't. Like, oh yeah, like this guy, like, yeah, you better play for the money we gave you. Like Harper came out there and he said like in an interview, like he embraces the whole Philly thing, which is like number one, you need to.
You have to.
I don't think Machado would have. He was like, yeah, whatever. No. I'm here to play and make my money. Like
he would have. Like Philly fans get sour quick anyway, but he would have really made him turn fast. And Harper fits Philly because he's edgy. He's an edgy dude. He's not exactly what's the phrase? He's not exactly politically correct, and we know Philly fans are not. So he fits. He fits that.
I'll be the first one to admit you on that. Like he's like the scraggly beard, no batting gloves, like in your face, screaming like like that's what they love. Like they love, like go crazy for that.
Yeah.
And I think he came out and said something like, like I want to walk down the same street that like Bobby Clark had a parade on with the Flyers, and like I want to go to like the Sixers game and a parade like the Philly streets where they won the Super Bowl. Like, all right, man, like come on over.
Yeah, he is. Like, he's all in.
But for someone that says that and like generally means it, and with no opt-out clause, which is massive.
Insane. Why would you say you don't want an opt-out clause? Like wow. That's just protecting yourself.
And that just did it for me. I'm like, you know what? Like this guy's here. He's here. Like we got him. Like
like he's not going anywhere.
And he's another one of those guys. Like I heard people tell me like, yo, dude, like that deal for Harper sucked because his batting average wasn't that good. It's like, all right, well. I mean, I would rather have a guy that hits for average at times, but like that guy, I mean, tons of RBIs, tons of homers. OPS was insane. Like, and that lineup, like I was watching today. I mean, they threw up like 10 runs today. Yeah,
and the one boy hit the grand slam. Like, it's a hitter-friendly park.
Oh yes,
he's a hitter. His average is gonna go up.
He didn't go there to play right field.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's there to hit, and he's gonna hit a lot. And I understand. Sure, if he was going to a park, to pick up my Tigers, if he's going somewhere like Comerica Park, which is just terrible for hitters, especially the lefties, okay, I can understand. Not being excited. He's going to a very hitter-friendly park. He's going to be more than fine. And because of his presence, these other guys are going to be reaping the benefits of them having to pitch around him, having to they're going to put up so many runs in Philly this year. It's not going to be funny. They're going to mess up their division.
Yeah, I still think Atlanta's pretty good.
They're a balanced team. They've got so much balance.
And they're deep.
They are.
Arms. They have some arms that people might not know, but you're probably going to know them pretty soon. Young guys that just chuck. And between that, I mean, the lineup they have is really not bad. Like UNIQDNA, Albies, Markakis is no slouch anymore. He played every single game last year. Freeman's a potential MVP. And then Donaldson, I totally forgot today until I turned the game on. Donaldson plays third base for them, so they inked him to just a 1-year deal. But again, that was a guy that was an MVP like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he doesn't pan out, oh well. Prospect's gonna come up and take his spot in a year anyways, most likely. But like, it's still Josh Donaldson, and then Ender Enciarte is pretty good. But I think the Phillies, that lineup is unbelievable. Like, if you did a before and after from last year to this year, I mean, with Segura, Harper, Hoskins, Realmuto. I mean,
yeah.
Who are you gonna throw to?
You really, yeah. It's like who are you gonna pitch? Actually, pitch.
Poison.
Yeah, because one of them is gonna get you.
I mean, even McCutchen. I mean, McCutchen's like Sammy.
And McCutchen's gonna get on base.
Yeah.
McCutchen's gonna get a hit. He's gonna get on base. And it's tough to pitch that man. He's so tiny.
Yeah.
He's got like the world's smallest strike zone. It's like, how do you even pitch to him?
And him and Franco, Michael Franco, I think he's going to benefit greatly from a lot of this because of who's ahead of him. Again, Hoskins, Realmuto, Franco. Before it was like, oh man, I think it was like Hernandez or somebody. Like he was hitting like up like third or something. I'm like, oh, I think if he really works out and he comes about, like that team is going to be dangerous because all Franco, Cesar Hernandez, and whoever else is out there have to do is just go out and Odubel Herrera, by the way, a fantastic hitter.
Oh yeah,
like 40-something game on base streak last year. Like, like between those guys, like they just got like those three guys just got to go out and play every day. These other guys, like, we got it. Like, you guys just benefit, and I think they are. I think they're going to beat Atlanta this year for the division. I really do.
Yeah, they've got a tremendous shot. So speaking of that prediction, so you predict they're going to beat Atlanta for the division. So give me your starting here with the NL, since we're talking about that. Who do you think comes out of the NL when it comes to the playoffs? Way too early predictions, but I'm going to make them anyway.
LA, without a doubt.
Top to bottom, they're still really scary.
The Dodgers are like unbelievable. Like again, I mean, they went to the World Series the last 2 years and lost, so it's only a matter of time. And they still have pretty much the same team. The only difference was they got AJ Pollock.
Yeah,
rather good. They dumped Puig and Kemp, which I don't think is going to be detrimental, because their top outfield prospect Alex Verdugo most likely he's just going to slide in there, which he should anyways. Which he's unbelievable. And they have a logjam in the outfield between I know Bellinger got some time in the outfield. I think that test is done. Bellinger's going to go to first, and then they're probably going to run out like Verdugo, Peterson, and Pollock.
Likely, yeah.
And go from there. But again, those three guys, like, I'm not worried about them. Like Turner's unbelievable. Corey Seager will be back this year. They didn't have him last year. He actually had Tommy John as a shortstop.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned Seager. Seager hit one out today, and the Dodgers, I don't know if you saw, they hit a record 8 home runs in their opening game today. Like Peterson, Muncy, Bellinger, Seager, Barnes, they all hit one. Hernandez hit 2.
Kike, and like they have guys that come off the bench like Kike Hernandez, who like not many people know, but like he's like a hell of a player. The pitching staff is where I think they're going to make their money. Like, even in the bullpen too, like between Kershaw, regular season Kershaw, I should say.
Yeah, playoff Kershaw has unfortunately just been. I don't understand what's going on with that, but yeah,
him and that kid Walker Buehler pitched at Vanderbilt. He can really throw, and his stuff is violent. It's hard. It moves like nightmarish stuff. And I think that to complement Kershaw with him, and then like guys like Ryu, Rich Hill, like they're gonna steamroll through that division because again, there's really nobody. Like who's gonna go compete with them? Maybe
I don't know because like you have
Colorado might maybe.
Yeah, maybe Colorado, but I mean, like you said, I mean, you've got Kershaw, Hill, Bueller, and Ryu. That's 4 really tough starters to have to deal with. Like, and then you have to stop that offense. It's gonna be.
Yeah, their offense is
It's,
Muncy had like a whole bunch of home runs last year, and he was. I mean, I think he got released by the A's, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll take you." And he came up, made a change to his swing, and now he's a superstar. Like, I don't know, it worked, but
yeah, like whatever shift they made for him, I mean, it made a difference.
I agree. And then, I mean, between like Seager, Turner, Chris Taylor, he's pretty good. Bellinger, like I think they're going to be just fine. But out of the AL, I have to say the Astros. After watching them play today, like I don't see anybody beating them. I don't think Boston has a run they have again. The only team, and it's going to kill me to say this, is the Yankees contesting with
Houston.
Yes.
I think the Yankees look good. They definitely look good. I just don't know if they will be able to sustain it, because one thing about this Houston team is they are just consistent. The Yankees are still consistently inconsistent, and I think a lot of that is coming from the dugout and just not getting the players to kind of find a happy medium, and to not continue to do this up down, where they'll have a hot streak and they win the cold streak. Houston just is consistently good, and that's going to, and then they ratchet it up in the playoffs. So I don't think the Yankees will. They rely so much. I don't know. I don't know if they rely too much on emotion. I don't know what it is, but I don't think they really have the mental capacity to beat them. I just don't think mentally they're ready to beat them. I don't think they have that championship mentality that they need to get over it. So, because obviously, when it comes to their roster, where you look at them, they look great. It's do they have it? Leader, can their manager manage them efficiently to get them where they need to be? And I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? And I said the same thing about the Yankees, and I'll be honest, I hate the Yankees, right? There's really no like in between there. Some of the fans are brutal. I really don't like them. Whatever. I will say they look damn good on paper this year, though.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Tulowitzki, Torres. You look at their pitching staff. Tanaka. They look great on paper.
Tulowitzki, who is resurrecting a career almost. It's Troy Tulowitzki. Like, he was like the number 3 player in baseball like not too long ago.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
My thing with them is like their bullpen is so good. I mean, Britton, Chapman, Betances, Ottavino.
I was just thinking Ottavino had a good inning.
If you could have your starter go, and this is like playoffs, right? So if you can have your starter go like 5, maybe 6 innings, the game is essentially over.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what the recipe was today. Tanaka went 5.2. Ottavino came in, closed it out, and pitched a full inning. Britton pitched an inning. Chapman pitched an inning. Game over.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that is their recipe for success.
But I think their thing is like, oh man, like that lineup wise, like, because I mean Houston's bullpen isn't terrible, but Houston's starting pitching is much like light years ahead of New York's.
Yeah, the strength of their staff is in the starters.
Like, I watched Verlander throw today, and
it kills me to see him in that uniform.
Bullied my rate. They actually hit a leadoff home run off Verlander today, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's light. And after that, I think he went like 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, a walk, and a run. Like,
he's a beast, man. Like, and the man's 37 years old, and he's still like, pitching complete games and throwing 100 miles an hour in the 8th inning.
Yeah, he was like 95, 96, like all day. Like
he's amazing.
Him, and then you get to Garrett Cole. I mean, who else? I mean, who else do they have in it? I mean, I don't think they have Morton's gone. I mean, I just think Houston's rotation's good. Their offense is scary, but I mean, if the Yankees put it all together, I think they could actually make a run for a title. Not saying they're gonna win. I just think that the Astros are, like you said, like they're just grinders. They're just too good.
Yeah.
And then, like I said last year, my prediction, like if the rivalry of Boston and New York, Boston had the more consistent team, and it showed. Right? New York, I mean, Gary Sanchez strikes out like every 5 minutes. Jones and Stanton are not too far behind, but like when those guys hit, they hit. But like, how often are all three of those guys firing on all cylinders?
Hasn't really happened yet.
In the lineup.
Yeah.
So like, if two of those guys are having a down day, I mean, yeah, you can pitch to Gleyber Torres, like he's a great player. You can pitch to him, you can pitch around him to get to whoever. But like, I don't know.
Right.
If it depending on what time it is, I mean, if they're hitting on all cylinders, I mean, that's a scary team. But,
very true.
I mean, when is that?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, you know. And I don't even know. My thing with their lineup to me is that, I think it's a little too heavy, because I don't know. And granted, we've only had one season with, you know, Judge, Sanchez, and Stanton together, but I think there's just too much firepower for, especially like Stanton, to get into a good enough groove. Because, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just tripping, but like when I've seen some of these lineups that have so many hitters on them, it seems to me that a lot of these guys just can't get into their right groove because of how these teams have to pitch to them and have to try to work around them. And compared to when they were the man elsewhere and they were able to get into a different groove because the approach to them was different. I just don't know if they will be able to get the balls that they need to see to be able to get into that groove where they're constantly hitting. I don't see it. And sometimes you'll have that rare. When I've seen a lineup like that like you look at it on paper and like, oh my God, how can you pitch these guys like let's take again, you're a hated topic. Let's like if you look at the Yankees in the '90s, where their lineup was just insane. Like if you closed your eyes and you looked at their lineup on paper, you're like, oh my God, like there's Darryl Strawberry, there's Cecil Fielder, there's Derek Jeter, you've got Bernie Williams, you've got Paul O'Neill, you've got Tito, like Martinez. Like, okay, who are you gonna freaking pitch to?
Yeah, but they were like all those guys. Like, I'd put a bat in their hands in the ninth inning when the game on the line. Like,
it's like so they could all hit. So it's like, but the thing is, like those guys had learned to all play their role,
right?
And I don't know if Sanchez, especially Stan, can regulate themselves, to that and allow themselves to not be the guy. I think if they can say, you know what, I'm not going to be the man. I can't be. There's too much talent here. Let me. New York. Yeah, exactly. New York. Let me find my niche. And I think if they can do that, then they're probably the scariest team out there. But I don't think they have the coaching to say, you know what, this is New York. It's not about you. It's about the Yankees. It's about the legacy. It's about winning. Let's find your niche. And on the field, let's find your niche in this lineup so that you can produce and we can win. And I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I agree. And that's like like a like Judge is the man there.
Yes, and he should be. He's young, he's big, he's a great athlete, and he's gonna be the face of that franchise, for the next 15 years probably. Like everything needs to be built around him.
Yeah, I mean he is the guy there. I think personally, I don't think anybody else there really like, I don't know, like Stanton and Judge, or yeah, Stanton and Sanchez, like they're like in this situation, they're supporting cast, I think.
Yes.
But I still think that they just need to. I don't know, man. I think they just like on paper they look great, but they also looked great last year and the year before, and it's just like I don't know. You know, they could. I think they could take the division, but like, don't be surprised if like I don't know, Houston, Boston, maybe even like a Milwaukee, somebody comes out of there and just is like, you know,
like, hey, surprise, yeah.
Because again, like the book is out hitting wise on Sanchez, Judge, maybe not quite Judge, like Stanton, Judge, Sanchez, those guys, like, you know, I mean, you're gonna get burnt a couple times by those guys, but like in the end, it's like,
especially Sanchez. Like Sanchez isn't fooling anybody.
yeah, no, I don't think he's that great.
I don't think I think he's definitely overhyped, and I think he would actually be better if he really starts to realize that he's a role player and acts like it. And I think he would actually become better by embracing being a role player. If he could be, you know, their Bernie Williams and be like, you know what, you know, this is the type of role you're going to be. We need you to be consistent. We need you to hit consistently. Don't try to, hitting home runs, things like that. Just hit the ball consistent, and we'll be good.
I just think that, I mean, they're a scary team. They're very good. I don't know how far they can go. I think they could win the whole thing, honestly. But again, I don't know. It's the same thing as last year. Like I think their bullpen's going to carry them, but like you can't tax your bullpen during the first 162.
Right.
So again, I know it's going to be tough for Boone to manage that team. Not really. I mean, I think I could manage.
Well, what does Boone really have to do to manage that team? I mean, no. Well, he does and he doesn't. Like, if Boone can find a way to get Stanton comfortable, because he still, to me, looks very uncomfortable in the lineup.
Sanchez looks the most uncomfortable to me.
And Sanchez, too, yeah.
He's abysmal. And defensively is abysmal as well.
Yeah, and it's not like basketball or football where you can hide someone's defensive liabilities. Like, he's got to – to me, like, just make him – he just needs to be a DH and call it a day.
DH him.
Yeah,
log jams him everywhere else if he DHs. Because then that kid Luke Voigt or whatever that DH today, I mean, he came over from St. Louis, I think, and he hammers the baseball. He's a big boy. Like he's a prototypical DH. Yeah, he's going to strike out, but not nearly as much as Gary will.
Oh yeah, Gary. I mean, in the 5 minutes this past, I think Gary just struck out 8 more times. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Voigt he's a big dude. He makes good contact, especially for a power. I mean, he hit a homer today.
Yeah. I watched that live. That ball was
gone.
Tattooed. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was over 400 feet. I mean, he jacked that thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with just from playing so long is like the complexity of like Sanchez and just the way even like Stanton stands.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sanchez has so many moving parts in his swing that again, I'm no hitting expert, but I mean he has a leg kick, kind of pinches the bat back over his head. There's a lot of moving things. It's a lot of timing. So in the MLB, if I can mess with your timing, yeah, it's going to affect you swinging.
Yep.
Stanton almost dares you to throw inside so he can – because he closes off. He stands like diagonal in the batter's box, which I don't know why. I guess it works for him, but his thing is he just hits mistakes, which every great hitter does. But
yeah,
I just thought like if you're like I think Judge is the most dangerous.
I agree by far.
Agree. I think he's a great face for baseball. He's a superstar. I mean, he's just an animal. Bottom line. But with like Stanton, like I don't know.
He's not comfortable, and
again, me and you could go to Yankee Stadium and no offense, hit a home run to right field. I mean,
yeah,
300 feet. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a small stadium. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like those guys feast there. So it's
Right.
like low batting average, a lot of home runs, but like, yeah, you're hitting like 210. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 210 with 45 homers. You know,
Can't go do that in Comerica Park, can you? And,
no, no. Well, you got we won is 45. You know, center it's like 5 something. It's like, come on, you know.
Well, it's like people knock Colorado. Colorado, you play and the ball travels faster, but I mean, if you can get one in the air in Colorado, like, yeah, it's gonna go, but it's still like 410 feet.
Yeah, the fences are far.
It's a home run, man.
Yeah, it's a home run in like 80% of the other parks. You know that ground rule double or that triple you hit is a home run everywhere else.
Yeah, I agree, but
so it was with what you think is going to move forward with these teams between the NL and AL. Again, super way too early to pick, but who do you think takes home the World Series championship for the 2019 season?
Philadelphia Phillies. No, just kidding. I'm gonna have to say, because I think, and this is us talking about this in the beginning. I think it's the Astros still, because they're gonna make some moves at the deadline. They're gonna get somebody, probably more than one guy, and that team as it is already is pretty exciting. So a couple here and there. I mean, them honestly, like, joking aside, like, Philadelphia could have a shot at it. And
Philadelphia has a legitimate shot. If they play to potential, they can definitely make noise postseason. My concern is the appearances that Harper has had in the postseason have not been anything to write home about either.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, that Nationals team was a train wreck.
They're like fighting. He's like fighting his pitchers. Like getting into arguments. Like, bro, like you got a baseball game to play. Come on, man. Like that team was. I don't know. They were a circus for all the talent they had. Yeah, for all the talent they had, that team was a circus.
Yeah, kind of embarrassing too. I mean, if you look at the amount of talent, and this was when, Miami was so. Atlanta was starting to come around. Philly was, who knows?
Yeah, they were nothing.
Who else? Oh, the Mets. Like, you played 4 teams that were kind of like the best of the rest.
Right.
82 win Phillies, Braves. Like, hey, like we got something going here, but like the Nationals was like Strasburg and Zimmerman when he was with them, right?
Yeah. Zimmerman was there, and then they picked up Scherzer.
I mean, my goodness, think about that. Like Strasburg, Scherzer, Zimmerman, and then like guys like Roark who aren't too bad on the back end. Like, then you had Harper. I love this kid, Trey Turner.
Yeah.
I mean, Juan Soto was, and I don't think he was up in the playoffs. This year he was, but back when they had that rain, he wasn't. But like they had like this team on paper, you're like, oh my goodness. First round exit every year. I think there's a Washington curse.
I had it because looking at them was like, how do they not lose? And I'm sorry. I was like, how do they lose?
A lot of it was like who you played. Like, I mean, you played a team like Miami this year. They're going to be so bad. Them, the Phillies and the Braves and the Mets back when they were all kind of all down. You play them 80-something times a year. Well, there's 70 wins. But then you go out and you play someone your caliber, and then guess what? Well, teams that are coming to play you that have been doing this all year come in, and then you're a first-round exit. So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of that team on paper was, like, good, but I don't know how good it was. But, I mean, they should have at least gone more.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I mean.
Well, the year they lost to the Giants.
Yep.
That's when Bumgarner, like.
Madison Bumgarner with bananas. Yeah.
Yeah, and he threw 2 times in the series.
And then Lincecum resurrected himself. Was like, wait, Tim Lincecum's still alive? Like, what?
I think that's when he was in the bullpen, but like
exactly.
They got it done. Like the Nationals on paper, like we got nothing. But I mean,
they had nothing. They had so much strife in that locker room. It's like it's a miracle they got as far as they did because of how much they didn't like each other and couldn't get along as a team. But the talent was so overwhelming. It's like they can't help but make it. But if they could have gotten along, they could have been something special.
Yeah, and who knows if it was how they were managed or if it was, like you said, like the attitudes going around. And I know you touched on it, like Harper's attitude. Like, there's times I disagree with Harper's attitude, but like, I would rather have a guy like Harper because I think he does care.
Oh, he definitely cares.
He does. And it's all in good faith. And he might get frustrated. Like, I've been there. Like, it's, like, I mean, think about it. You go time and time again, you're like the top guy, and then you just, like, you flounder. Like, yeah, it's frustrating. Like,
yeah, it's, especially, I mean, if you're a fan of those teams, I can't imagine being a fan and getting as, like pulling your hair out, dealing with just the back and forth and the drama between that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and when he was fighting Papelbon, I mean, like,
yeah. Well, granted, no one seems to like Papelbon.
Yeah,
like no matter where he's gone, Papelbon is just a piece of work. Philly, Boston, nobody likes Jonathan Papelbon. So his mom probably don't like him. Like everybody fights for him.
Yeah,
but
I mean, honest to God, like you're gonna have guys like that, but like you said, I think the good teams, I don't.
They deal with it. The good teams, you deal with it. You deal with the egos. You deal with the attitudes. You manage them. That's what great managers manage them. And a lot of these teams that were like so close to the cusp, a lot of it to me is like, they're not managed properly because you can't tell me that another manager, one of those clipped Papelbon's wings right then and there, I'm like, hey, look, sit down, shut up, leave the star alone, just go do your job, and we'll win. Like,
there's no room for that.
There's none, and the fact that it even culminated, like it never should have gotten that close because the manager and the staff should have been, in between them long before it even got that heated between them. Like you nipped that crap in the bud. Like if it was in the locker room after a game or something like that, guys are getting dressed, the coaching staff is having a conversation. Okay, I can see something popping off. It is the middle of a game. Like that shouldn't even be close to happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times like, I mean, I've been on both ends of it, like with teammates on the bad end, and then like breaking it up on like the part where it's like, hey, come on, like there's a game going on. A lot of it is like the cream will rise to the top, right? So like the good team, right? The teams, okay, like the Dodgers, for example, like they're a good on paper team. Obviously, that hasn't showed in the last 2 years.
Well, unfortunately, the World Series hasn't shown for them.
Right. So, like, when you bring in guys, like, and that's the thing, like, so, like, to the Astros, right? They are a solid team. All those guys, like, those guys know what move the guy next to them is going to make before they even know.
Right.
And that goes a long, long way when you're talking about, like, title runs and, like, like middle infielders, like, like outfielders for that sense, like they know, like, what you're going to do, right? Like, I've actually been on one in the summer for the last 5 years. Yeah, we might not be the most athletic, but we're a great team, and it works. You play for the guy next to you, and it works. So, like, imagine a guy like Machado coming in. Like, great player, but, like, do you mesh with everybody? Right? So think about that. If you have one guy in there that isn't, kind of on page with everybody else, like, yeah, it comes to a point where it's like, and it shows it might show in the play.
Yeah, I mean, but you talk like Machado. Machado meshes with nobody but his, his check. Like,
Yeah.
That's it. He's not vibing with anybody.
I don't think so. I really don't. But I mean, hey, we'll see. I mean, it should be a very interesting season. I'm sure some drama will come out. Someone, unfortunately.
Well, drama needs to come out. That's what keeps it entertaining.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, injury is the unfortunate part of it.
Well, just like in Westeros, people live, people die, drama, and transitioning out of the realm of baseball just momentarily. We've got two big premieres in the world of entertainment coming up with the premiere of Game of Thrones Season 8 and the wild finish to the story of Westeros and Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. What is going to happen and who will sit on the Iron Throne? You're
going to kill me for this? I have not watched.
No, I know you haven't watched it, which I'm going to rag you for because it is.
Have at it.
Because you are, dude. Like every time I watch a show like this, I think of the people, like handful of people I know who haven't watched Game of Thrones, and I'm like, why would you deprive yourself of such excellence?
I think at this point I'm like too far gone. I'm just like, there's so much, and it's just like, I heard. I don't get me wrong. I've heard fantastic reviews. I heard that like you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, and it's like I don't know. Like
the challenge is you need to watch it, and like I talked to one of my coworkers. He had watched up until like season 5, and I was like, dude, you realize season 8 is like 20-something days away. Like, it's time to catch up.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I mean, I just haven't had time, and it's been tough. I'm like, bruh, you need to catch up. And he just the other day, he comes up, he goes, okay, I did it. And I'm like, and he goes, dude, I don't know what I was waiting for. Like, I'm like, exactly, bruh.
So someone like that needs to. All right, I'm on season 0.
See, you need to get the intro in. Because see, that's what's the beauty of it, being HBO. You can always watch and pretty much at your own pace.
Right.
Definitely something you should check out because you are missing out on one of the seminal stories of the 20th into the 21st century.
That's what I've heard.
Most people don't realize how old the story is because actually the first book came out in 96. Yeah, the first book, Game of Thrones, which is the series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. The first Game of Thrones book, Game of Thrones, came out in 1996, and I actually read it myself in I want to say I was out of high school. I want to say like 2000, early 2000s, 2003, maybe 2004 is when I actually first read it. It's absolutely amazing. Definitely take a couple hours, watch the first few episodes, and then you'll find yourself after blinking your eyes and saying, wow, I just finished season 3, like, oh, what just happened to my weekend? Like you'll be like, okay, I gotta go outside and do something because you realize you just spent too much time in front of television. It's excellent show. Excellent.
Just quick go outside, be like, all right, yeah, whatever. All right, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, you'll go outside. You'll go outside and like actually probably be renewed, hunting and fishing because you'll feel the outdoors like you're out there in the country of Westeros, and you'll feel it.
I mean, I was thinking more so just go out in the front porch, see the sun. All right, I'm good. All right, we're back to it. Like, I gotta watch.
You got that sunlight, got that vitamin D. All right, okay, I'm feeling it. All right, let's go back. On pause.
I know it's what's gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, I could go do that today, or I could go back down and watch the rest of this. So, like, that's gonna go.
Now, are you going to see Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, I'm not going to go to the midnight premiere because it's going to be me and the rest of the world there. But
it's going to be so packed.
So excited because, Infinity War was awesome.
Yeah, it was honestly it was better than I thought it was going to be.
I've heard a lot coming out about it, and these people come out. They're gonna say, "Yeah, the whole ending is leaked." Like, really? Is it like? Because how many times has that happened? Like, and I see a bunch of stuff on about the internet. I don't think any of it's true. I think it's all hot air.
Well, nowadays a lot of these, because of phones and video and all this stuff that we've got nowadays compared to 15, 20 years ago, a lot of these directors are making alternate endings just to keep things interesting. And what they'll do is they'll film 2, 3, or 4 endings, and they'll chop up 2 or 3 of them to make the actual ending that they actually want. So what the internet leaks out there a lot of times nowadays isn't legit anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I have a couple bold predictions for it.
No, go ahead.
I think with the way it ended with, and sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Infinity War yet, you just it's on Netflix, for goodness sake. There's no reason to not. You've had your time.
I don't feel bad. Now I don't feel bad. Yeah, you're right. I think when with Doctor Strange running through and he's like, yeah, I test, and he's like spazzing out over there, and he's like, I went through all the endings. There's only one good way. I think there is a lot to do with that. Very minor scene in it, which not a lot of people picked up on. Probably just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, on to the next one. I think because the thing Captain America is quote unquote going away. Right? Mm-hmm. Is that true? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, Chris Hemsworth is Thor, and then Chris Evans is Cap. Like all their contracts, and actually, Mr. Heroin, Robert Downey Jr. All their contracts have expired. Like so, I'm not an RDJ guy. He's a talented dude. But if you or I were caught with all the heroin he got caught with, we'd still be in jail. Yeah. But I digress. They're all their contracts are over. So I think that when the end result is going to be a reboot, like there's going to be things will be different. It'll be a new Cap or a new Iron Man or a new Thor. I
hope not, though.
I would definitely prefer not. Like, even though I'm not huge on personally, some of the actors, like, I thought they were cast well. Even though I initially didn't like I didn't like Chris Evans' cast as Captain America, because I thought of Chris Evans and I remembered Not Another Teen Movie. And then I thought of him as a Human Torch. And I'm like, no, I'm not seeing Captain America in this dude. They proved me. They proved me wrong. Yeah. I hate being wrong, but they proved me wrong when they casted Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. At first, I was like, okay, I could see it a bit. I'm like, he's cocky. Tony, later on in the '90s, started getting arrogant. And pretty cocky. I'm like, okay, you know what? Okay, I can see this one. And then I looked at Hemsworth as Thor. I'm like, duh. Okay, he's clearly Thor. I wasn't huge on Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow because she doesn't appear to be she doesn't look Russian. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, like, you can't tell me there's not some hot Russian chick that can act, that could have done her role. I mean, I like Scarlett, not knocking her, but I was like, you can't tell me there's not another, character she could have, the Avengers she could have been like. I'm like, all right. But they had her in the red hair most of the time, so I was like, okay, I'll pass with that. Jeremy Renner is so boring. I think I like Hawkeye's always been one of my favorite, lower tier heroes because, he's always talking smack, he's always flirting, and he's just a regular dude who can, who can shoot arrows extremely well. Like he's an exceptional, super exceptional archer, but he's just a regular human. Right. But Jeremy Renner's so boring. It's like, when they would try, like, to have these funny moments between him and Black Widow, it was like, dude, Renner, dude, come on, like, why are you so boring? Mark Ruffalo, I don't like most of his movies. I don't like him as Banner. I was like, dude, hit it out, hit a home run. Like, I'm feeling it. So great cast. My hope for Endgame, honestly, is that they introduce, especially now that they, I hope they introduce somehow, the X-Men. Somehow the X-Men get introduced.
Yeah.
Like, now, like, even though the movie's been made, I'm hoping they slid something in, knowing that they were going to go after Fox. But like, I just, because what I'm hoping for is if they don't, what I don't want them to reboot, because I would love to see them pull in somehow, like Wolverine or Professor X or somebody, or even Storm. Like, if the movie ends and they're recovering in Wakanda, and Storm flies in, and starts, talking to somebody, and and Black Panther's like, yo, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, it's something to tie it in, because to me the next phase should be building for an Avengers versus X-Men movie, like trilogy, building up that story, and then you can start splintering off into actually official Marvel / Disney X-Men films, and actually do that right. That would be that's my hope, for the end of Endgame.
A big if.
It's a really big if, but like, to me, if you're going to continue to build this universe, you have to start incorporating. You have to incorporate the X-Men. They are a cherished jewel in Marvel Comics. You have to do it. You fixed your Spider-Man problem. You've got. God. Yeah, thank God. You fixed the Spider-Man problem, and then you got an Oscar for the most amazing, probably in my opinion, the best Spider-Man movie ever, and Enter the Spider-Verse. So you fixed your animated problem. You fixed your at least with that one, you fixed your Spider-Man problem. You've got a great cast out of these adventures. Now, if you can fix the X-Men, you're going to make the comic book fans, especially, but just anyone who likes the X-Men, you're going to make them all extremely happy. And you will just continue to expand your universe. And that way, maybe you could even redeem, the godforsaken Fantastic Four, who keep just getting bad movie after bad travesty movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, for me, like, cause I know, like, you read, like you have some of the comics, right? Like, you've read them.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge comic book head.
I haven't read a comic. Like a while ago, I have, but like from like I haven't like read all of them. I'll be honest, but like from a cinematic standpoint, like not like let's say like hypothetically, like no one were to read a comic,
right?
Like they've done okay.
Oh yeah, like my parents love the Avengers, all the Marvel movies, pretty much. I think they've seen all of them, and they actually would see them like before I was able to. And my parents are not comic book people. My dad wasn't a comic book guy. My mother wasn't. Her brothers were, but which is where I got my love for comics from. But from my uncles, but she wasn't into comics, and they loved the Marvel movies.
Right.
They called me after. Did you see Black Panther yet? No, I didn't see Black Panther yet. Did you see Avengers yet? No, I haven't had the chance to see Avengers yet. I have kids. I can't just dump them and go see a movie because y'all done moved away. Like, I haven't seen it yet. And then my dad being so excited, he was like, well, this happened. Like, don't. I mean, do not give me no spoilers. Don't tell me. Then he was like, well, pretty much it got rid of other brothers. I'm like, man, I said don't be giving me no spoilers.
Yeah, like, no big deal.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Like, come on. So like, yeah, you're casual fans who enjoy the films. Like, this has been a huge win for them, and I really hope that they will be able to continue it, because yes, I can understand the actors not wanting to be typecast, not wanting to be pigeonholed, as well as wanting to do other creative endeavors. Hey, if you're a serious actor, you don't want to play a superhero all the time. You want to try maybe a rom-com. You want to try a drama. You may want to try a horror film. Whatever creative expression you're trying to do. But if Disney/Marvel is smart, you find a way to bring them back. You find a way to keep expanding this universe because you've hit a grand slam with it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so like if you haven't seen the comics, like I could care less if they didn't go by the book with the comics. Like, so what? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like let's just say like you did find a way to introduce all of them, and like maybe have them come in sooner. Like that's fine. Right, so now what you've done is like you have the audience, and you can probably hit a couple more grand slams, like you said. Like let's just say DC and them do come into play. Like bring them in, bring them in this movie. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. But mine is Captain America is going away. Unfortunately, he's a personal favorite of mine. I think that with the time stone and whatnot throughout it, like they send him back in time to be with the girl that he was with in all the Captain America movies.
Oh, you're referring to Peggy Carter.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So he's gone and done his time through the Avengers thing, which is awesome. I think he's been fantastic. I love the Captain America movies. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I love when he came back in Infinity War when they threw the spear at him and he just grabbed it and came walking out of it. Like that's like one of like the top three. That's awesome. And they played the music.
It was like, wait, why is Steve staying in the shadows? So I look good.
Yeah,
catch
somebody goes by.
Yeah,
and like the music's playing, and you're like, who? Like I didn't have like, who is that?
Well, I loved it one because he was rocking the beard.
Yes, he had the hair and the beard.
He had the beard, and he was seeing as a comic book guy. I noticed the subtle nuances that you, as a casual fan, may not notice. So, like as the Captain America movies and the Avengers movies, I don't know how much of his costume changes you've noticed.
Yes.
But as the movies have progressed, and as the comics moved, there was a time where Steve Rogers stopped being Captain America, and he was just Steve Rogers, Super Soldier. So pretty much essentially with Civil War is when he stopped being like quote unquote Captain America, when he was just, and you notice a lot of them stopped calling him Captain. It was always just Steve.
Yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Yes.
Steve, or they call him Cap or whatever,
There was still some people call Cap out of habit, but a lot of them were dressing him just as Steve, and he was wearing his Super Soldier uniform compared to the Captain America uniform.
Yes.
And I love that uniform. The uniform is super dope. So when he catches that spear, he's got the Super Soldier uniform on. He's got this beard, and he's just like he looks like $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, it's a perfect time in the movie because like they're all kind of like everywhere. Like in the plot of the movie, like they're kind of like something's brewing, but we don't know what. And then like everyone's getting back together, and I'm pretty sure that this is after like the fallout, right? Because Stark's like, yeah, well, me and Cap haven't talked, and this is after the Civil War and all that went down, and then like, hey, like we're back, like wait, what better way? Captain America catches a spear thrown at him, and he's sort of snapping it over his leg, and like comes back, which is awesome. But my prediction is yes, I think that he will get sent back in time. Basically kind of like, because like there's no way like you're gonna like I just fail to believe that you're gonna be like, yeah, we're just gonna kill Captain America, like have him die, like like the way like Loki died in it, you know what I mean? Like like that's not like there's no way that like you guys kind of have the guts to do that. Like you can't, like the way the movie's going. It's like a feel good movie in a sense.
Oh yeah, I mean superhero movies in general are feel good movies. Especially for Marvel. Marvel always tends to have the feel good compared to DC.
So it's like there's no way you're gonna have him. You know what I mean? Like, and if they do, yeah, it'll be tough. But like, I just think that there's something. You know what I mean? Like you said, like the ultimate ending. Like there's something in there that's Captain America is gonna be gone in a scene. Iron Man, I think he's gonna be gone. I just don't. I think that he's going to be gone. Unfortunately,
You see, I hope
I really hope that's so false. Like, I really hope that's just like, why would you say that? Like,
yeah, no. Like, I understand what you're saying that, but he may be gone essentially, but in comic books, no one's ever gone.
right.
Like, you know,
Right.
like there are characters who die like every other issue, and then they're brought back. Like, so the concern, obviously, because it's a film franchise, is that, you know, Chris is not getting any younger. None of these guys are getting any younger, and you can only portray, you know, that character for so long. And you know what? I don't know if Chris wants to deal with getting so bulked up, you know, constantly for the movie too. It's like,
Yeah, true.
you know, I want to see him still in the role, but, you know, does he still want to do it? Like, I truly hope he wants to do it. I truly hope Downey Jr. still wants to be Iron Man. I hope Helmsworth still wants to be Thor. Like, I would love them to keep it going.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think they go away somehow, and they'll probably leave a loophole somewhere for them to come back, because it is comic books. I'm thinking that either if they're not lost in time, I think they get moved to an alternate universe,
Right.
with something with Reality Stone.
They're still alive. They're just not in
They're just
that bad situation or whatever they're going to be in at the time in the movie. That's all.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
all I really hope. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Because I think also this is going to be a potential great entry to fully introduce the Marvel multiverse, which, you know, DC has been doing with a lot of their CW shows. And everybody, like, Marvel fans know about it if they read the comics, but it really hasn't been something that has been touched upon much, you know, for casual fans in the films. So this would be a really great way to introduce the multiverse, and having the Reality Stone kind of, you know, blip some of these guys from, you know, from their prime reality to, you know, to an alternate, you know, universe somewhere where they're just chilling until somehow they find a way to bring them back.
yeah.
And I think that's where we may get, because you're not a comic book fan, some of these things may sound weird to you. But in the comics, Sam Wilson, a.k.a. Falcon, becomes Captain America. And I have a sneaky suspicion that if Steve does disappear, the mantle will fall upon Anthony Mackie as Falcon to be Captain America for a limited time. And there'll be some really surprising changes there in what is known as the Avengers. But, you know, I have so many, you know, theories that I would love to see happen. I would love to see the Netflix guys show up. You know, I would love to see Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil show up. Iron Fist can show up, even though I wasn't pleased with Finn Jones's portrayal of him, but, like, I would love to see those guys appear in Endgame. Like, that would be super dope, especially because they all eventually become Avengers. So, like, if Cap, Iron Man, and Thor disappear, okay, the Defenders come in and they supplant them. You know, in the meantime, while they, you know, kind of deal with some, you know, leadership struggles, and then who's going to lead, who should do what, how are we going to try to get Cap, you know, Iron Man and Thor back from, you know, alternate, you know, from Earth number 52, and kind of continue the story from there. So there's so many places that could go. I'm just gonna be really curious to see what they end up doing. I just hope that they leave that sliver of hope for these guys to come back if they really, really want to.
Yeah, just please do it right. Honestly, like, there's probably a good chance that, like, we totally whiff on all of this.
Yeah, probably.
Which is, like, okay with me.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah. So again, and that's the nice part about, like, and I keep up on some of it, but, like, I think that there's a good chance that, like, honestly, like, I don't know. I just know that there's a big surprise coming. They have to introduce somebody. They have to. Whether
it will be a wasted opportunity to not introduce somebody.
Goodness. Yeah. I don't know who it's gonna be. I don't care really who it is. Just be somebody. I mean, I don't know. I think I heard it's gonna be 3 hours. I don't care if it's 10 hours.
The official runtime is 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Yes, I don't care if it's 10 hours. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, I don't take off for work. I'm gonna take off for work and go see one of the early shows. You know, like
I think I might. Because I think ain't nobody else gonna be there, so I might even take you up on that. Maybe
yeah,
watch it. I'd be totally in for that.
yeah, dude. You know, we'll make it an event, like, for real.
But I think it's I'm excited. I love those movies. The movies are so great, but again, I think that with what they've done, I mean, they haven't gone like over throughout any of the Marvel movies, in my opinion.
No, like, they haven't had a bad one. Like,
so like,
I shouldn't say that. I mean, there were two misses. Iron Man 3 was a hot flaming mess.
Yeah,
and
for the most part, you know,
it was bad. And then Thor: Dark World was also bad.
Yeah, Thor: Dark World was nuts. Yeah, so but like minus those two, but I think a lot of those played into kind of like the comic role. You know what I mean? Like kind of just fill in the storyline. Which
they helped the story, but unfortunately they were bad movies.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
8 for 10 is not bad.
Yeah, I mean they hit a couple home runs. They hit a home run with Civil War. They hit a home run with Winter Soldier. The first Avengers was a home run. Infinity War was a home run. They hit a lot of a triple here and there. They hit a lot of doubles with I would say triple, like Iron Man 1 was a triple. What else am I thinking of? Guardians of the Galaxy was a triple. Like, they had some of those. They had a whole lot of doubles between Doctor Strange, Captain America: First Avenger, Guardians 2. So they had a whole lot of doubles, and then you had, you got caught bunting with Thor, and you just struck out terribly on Iron Man 3.
Which, hey, whatever. I mean, they were still okay. They weren't good. They weren't great. But like, yeah, it's not going to be Infinity War. It's not going to be like I thought Ragnarok was awesome. Like Civil War, or the first Avengers. It's not going to be that. But I think that this one is going to be like. I have this huge feeling that all of that is going to lead to this, and I think that honestly, and I pray that they're just going to knock it out of the park. I think
Me too.
Because for what they've done thus far, like, there's no way you can miss this. There's no way. I mean, hopefully, but
like they've come so far. It's like to drop the ball would just be. I can't see it happening. Like the trailer is super dope. Like I can't see it happening.
Oh my goodness, I want to run through a wall watching the trailer. Like, it's just
like you ready to say, like, all right, we're gonna get our peoples back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Well, it's transitioning back to baseball, but sticking with movies. I share with you a list of what I feel are the top 10 baseball movies. I'd love to get your point of view. So I'm going to run through the list here for our listening audience, and then I'm going to mention a couple.
I hate this list.
I'm going to mention a couple others that are not on this list that you could debate about as far as what could be in, what could be out. So this top 10 list, ladies and gentlemen, is not a order. This is just 10 baseball movies I believe are the top 10, but this is number 1, this is number 2. This is just the top 10 baseball movies in Rockinmrmagic's personal opinion. So we are starting with 1, The Natural, 2, Bull Durham, 3, For the Love of the Game, 4, Major League, 5, The Sandlot, 6, Bad News Bears, 7, 42, 8, Moneyball, 9, Field of Dreams, and number 10, rounding things out, A League of Their Own. So that is the list. Now, some baseball movies that are not on this list that are worthy of mention: $1 Million Arm, The Babe, Rookie of the Year, The Rookie, 8 Men Out, Cobb, Mr. 3000, 61, The Fan, and Angels in the Outfield.
I don't think any of those the honorable mentions are honorable mentions for a reason. For what you listed, in my order, number 1 to me is Moneyball. That movie is awesome. That's like that's what it's like. Like the personal.
That's the most realistic baseball movie ever.
Like this is what he does for a living. Is what this guy does. Hardships outside of it, with building a team, the struggles, getting people to buy into his system. From what I heard, it's like spot on. They're like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like that's how it went. Number 2, I had to go Bull Durham, just because
Bull Durham's so freaking good.
funny.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Just Kevin
Costner's the man. Like,
yeah,
you know, he has 3 of the best baseball movies ever.
Yes,
like think about that.
And then with Costner, like my favorites at the bar scene when they're fighting over the girl in the beginning, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll take it outside," and he's like, "Throw the ball at me, Meat," and he gives him the nickname of Meat. Throw the ball at me, Meat, and he throws it through the glass and he like punches him in the face. Yeah, I'm Crash Davis. I'm your new catcher. Like, I don't know. Like,
and that young Tim Robbins, like, yo.
Or the Rain Out. That's my favorite. Like they get into the hotel and the dancing girls are next door. Like, oh man, I wish we could go out and drink all night and party and hang out with these girls. And if you guys want a rain out, we'll get you a rain out.
Right.
They show up to with the 6-pack and then like that's hilarious. Number 3 would be 42. That was well done.
It was.
Jackie Robinson for everything he's done for the game. I mean, unbelievable. If you really wanted to and nitpick, like you probably swap all 3 of those for like a number 1 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Major League. Major League 1 and 2, Major League 3.
No, you don't have to mention Major League 3.
Yeah, that's just okay. Just edit that.
Yeah, Major League 3 never needs to be mentioned.
I forgot I brought it up. I want to come on the show again. For love of the game, number 5, excuse me. I think that with that whole movie, like the whole aura of it, like I think every like baseball player has had like that moment. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I tell you one thing about For the Love of the Game that got me, because generally people that aren't sports fans don't have compassion or empathy for athletes because they're compensated so well.
Right.
For the Love of the Game made you feel empathy for a professional athlete, and you really didn't see that in a sports film before. And this movie is like, wow, like, man, I felt for this dude. Like,
yeah, right.
The hardships, the mental anguish, just like, it's like, yo, and it's like, yeah, these guys are people too, and they have a very high pressure job, and they have to deal with real life too. It's like, yeah, you should have some empathy for these people.
Yeah,
and it's just in that part alone it makes him, For the Love of the Game, an amazing film.
Number 6. Sandlot, easy. Sandlot's good. I mean, I could probably put that at number 1. This is tough, but like the Sandlot is like a childhood kid going out there like just like playing ball. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
If they I feel like they remade that. You know what I mean? Like a new, like if it was.
They have a Sandlot 2, which obviously was not good, and so many years later, it's like it was really bad.
Yeah, like, that movie was awesome. Like your feel good story, like kids playing ball in the yard. Like how can you not like people who haven't seen The Sandlot? Like probably the same person listening to this that hasn't seen Avengers. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you've had plenty of time. Plus, I don't know anyone that's seen The Sandlot who doesn't like it.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that said I don't like The Sandlot. Like,
yeah, honestly, right?
Yeah, like it's like what? No one says that. Like everyone loves it. It's great. So we've got Field of Dreams, Bad News Bears, and A League of Their Own.
I'm gonna go Bad News Bears, The Natural, League of Their Own.
What about Field of Dreams?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I said Field of Dreams, The Natural, and then A League of Their Own. Bad. No, Field of Dreams. Excuse me. Yeah, Field of Dreams, Bad News Bears, The Natural, and then A League of Their Own.
Okay. Okay.
Field of Dreams is awesome.
Field of Dreams is great. I mean, it's less heavy on the baseball, obviously,
Yeah,
but
that's the thing that kind of that's the only bad part about it.
but baseball is so even though it's a baseball movie, but it's crazy because it's a baseball movie that's not about baseball. Like,
yeah,
is baseball such a part of it, but it's not the focus.
I could probably switch that. I mean, again, this list is so difficult. Like, you could probably interchange all these, but like, A League of Their Own was really good. That was during World War II. Guys went away. That was a big thing, and like they
yeah,
plenty of hard. Like, I don't want to watch girls play baseball. Like, what the heck? Like, but it turned out through the movie, like the movie was awesome, and that's a really good feel good movie. With the end, the sisters playing and kind of the drama that unfolded through it.
Yeah.
This Bad News Bears, the newer one is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's so funny. Yeah, with Billy Bob Thornton drunk, like you know what I mean? Like, how fitting, you know.
Well, see, I'm a big Walter Matthau fan. I just for him and Des DeMantis, him and Grumpy Old Men, like I'm a big Walter Matthau guy.
Yeah, I can see your point there.
Yeah, he was because the Billy Bob Thornton one, I think is the kids are better in that one.
Yes.
Walter Matthau made the original Bad News Bears. Like, that was 85% him and 15% the kids. Where
make it, though, I think, but like
and
like all those guys, like the kids were great.
Yeah, the kids were still great, but Walter Matthau was so more vital to that film than Billy Bob was to his, and it made it more of an ensemble cast feel, which kind of just boosted the funness because it was more about the kids. Right. So I could definitely understand why you like that one more than the original.
I just thought of one that didn't make the list. The Benchwarmers. Don't think it makes the top 10 now.
No, but a good movie. So talk to me about your feelings on The Natural, because The Natural is like, I love that movie. Like,
I mean, it's okay. I just think like all the movies before it were just like 42 was all like, I don't know. A lot of it is like what's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it is a little. I don't want to say it's outdated, but it's like an older base kind of movie. I mean, like,
it's an older baseball movie.
Yeah,
we're talking.
So like,
you're talking about what is it? It's set in what
84.
No, it came out in 84.
Yeah.
But the movie is set in like the 50s, I think.
And I said I don't want to say it's hard to relate, but like,
no, it's hard to relate to. A crazy woman shoots him. A crazy stalker shoots him. Then he a lightning strikes a tree. He makes a baseball bat, and he's jacking all these types of home runs. And then the bat breaks, and it's hard. Yeah, no one can relate to that.
I like a lot of it, like, because I like to kind of get that, like, in like the movies I listed, my early ones were like, it happened. Like, this is the game.
You can see it happening.
This is what the game is about. Like, yeah, how can this is in Moneyball. Like, how can you not get emotional about the game of baseball? Like, yeah, I spent my whole life doing that. Like,
right.
You can relate to that. Like lightning struck a tree. Like really, like, I don't know. I just don't like. I wish.
It was the 80s, and that for the time frame when it came out, it was normal because all the movies were odd in that aspect, but it doesn't hold up, when it comes to looking at the quality of baseball. And it is, like you said, it is set. I'm trying to think. Actually, I think it's even set before the 50s, like, because
it's just like I can't get into it. I'm just like, okay.
It's tough to that's right, because because the book was written in 52. That's why I had the 50 stuck in my head. So I think so Roy Hobbs was a young boy growing up in Nebraska in the 1910s. So the movie takes place, he was 23 when the crazy girl shoots him in the hotel. Okay, so it's set in the 30s. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely tough for a lot of people to get into because it's 1930s baseball.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the movies before it, like, and again, I'm probably showing my age here, but like Moneyball, even like Bull Durham's like an older movie, but like it's still like funny and it's just like kind of comical to a sense.
Bull Durham, to me, Bull Durham is probably, like, if I had to put a number one, Bull Durham is probably number one
You could
because
I would
because
not
it holds up the most. It's absolutely hilarious,
oh yeah,
and it is so real. The game it's real. It's what you talk to minor league players and they'll say, yeah, like that's
yeah.
that's minor league baseball for you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and again, like that's like you like I don't know. It's funny. It's relatable. It's some of it's true. I don't know how much, but like even like Sandlot's funny. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Buttermakers at the kid's mom's house, and more
Yeah.
love. Like, yeah, like, that's funny. Like, and it's like it's a little bit more relevant. I'm probably showing my age in this, but like like I just can't like The Natural. It's just like I would rather watch like Major League.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when they're calling the players list, like, oh, this guy's dead. Like, oh my goodness, sorry, click, and they hang up. Like,
Oh, yeah, with freaking Bob Euchre calling him. Yeah, oh, hey, he's
like
dead.
Serrano, and like and it's like a feel good movie too. Like,
Oh yeah, everybody loves. They mean it's an underdog film.
Yeah,
Everybody loves the underdog.
Yeah, I think those are automatically front of the line because they're a little bit more relevant, a little bit more funny. They're a little bit more like there's a little bit of everything in them.
Mm-hmm.
Moneyball to me, I just think stands out just because like we said earlier, like we touched on like with the Oakland A's and their payroll, like it's crazy to believe that this guy sits in that office all day and like it's all true. It's all 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's his life. Like he does nothing but that.
And like people, if you didn't have a baseball fan like that, they'd be like, wow, that guy's crazy. Oh yeah, like a fox. Like
yeah,
that's what this guy does for a living.
Yeah, like he does nothing but think about this.
And like Brad Pitt did good. Like I think Brad Pitt was awesome in it. Oh my god, like when they're in the meeting, we're talking to, and it's again like I've related to this. Like your old school baseball guys here. To wrap it up here, to put it very brief, like your old school baseball guys versus like your new age guys. A lot of new age guys are like buy the book, buy the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do we got here on analytics? What is this guy hitting? It's all like situational based number stuff.
Right.
And when they're sitting in the room and they're like going over names, and all the old guys are sitting there. Like, yeah, who's Fabio? Like, no, like that's what we're looking for. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we need to get these players, not these guys in there. Like the analytics of it and kind of the ins and outs of the game, and to what Bill that book or the movie was written off Bill James,
right?
The smartest man to really never play, with the algorithms, the equations, the stats, what players are good, who should you spend on, who should you not like. It is amazing that that organization runs off that. I mean, look at the team, like numbers into a computer. And they spit it out, and that's who we go get.
And they buy into it. That's the crazy. Yeah. That's the thing. They buy into the Moneyball system, and they are fully committed to it.
Yeah, and that's part of the movie is Billy Beane getting them to play this. Well, I don't want to play this guy. This guy's the rookie of the year. Well, yeah, but the computer says this, and that's where you kind of a little bit of conflict there. With what do you mean? I don't want to play this. This guy's a rookie of the year. I don't want to. Why would I play him over this guy? But I mean, yeah, I just think I'm into that. So I think that was an easy number one. So it was a tough list. Top 5 was tough.
It's a tough list, definitely. Let's do this because I can completely understand why The Natural doesn't do it for you. Being a bit older than you, The Natural was like in the 80s. There weren't that many baseball movies to really like cling to. And your dads and grandfathers, they loved The Natural. Like that was like their baseball movie. So it it was something that 80s kids were like, okay, yeah, natural, cool. But if you break down the film, it's like this is a fantasy baseball movie, about how a guy came back after being shot by a crazy woman. Like, it's odd. It's an odd film when you really look at it. So let's just for this sake, let's take out, if you take out The Natural, most people would have it on their list, but if you take The Natural out, what would you put in its place? Would you put in like a 61? Would you put it in the 8 Men Out, which is a historical look at the Black Sox? What would you look at The Babe with John Goodman, which I think is an underrated baseball movie.
Good. Oh man, The Benchwarmer. No, that movie.
And also, did you ever see The Fan?
No, I've never seen that. No.
Okay, that's a movie I would encourage you to watch, because it's got Wesley Snipes pretty much starring as like Deion Sanders, essentially, super flashy, big time player, and Robert De Niro is like this crazy stalker fan who tries to kill him, essentially, and it's a really good movie, and it's one of those, to me, like one of those severely underrated movies, with baseball being a high importance, high part of the movie, but not being completely about baseball. You should definitely I think you would enjoy it. You should definitely check it out, because The Fan is, to me, it's up there when it comes to flirting with the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'd put in, to be honest. I mean, there's, after that, like it really does fall off. Maybe like it's gonna kill me to say this, like a Mr. 3000, maybe.
Mr. 3000 was funny. I was like, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac doesn't look like he's no baseball player. Like I was like, casting makes such a big, like, I look at Bernie Mac like
guy, because like Bernie Williams at our top, like, no doubt this guy can't hit a baseball. Like,
yeah, like Bernie Mac don't like he can hit no baseball. I'm like, nah, man. Like, if you play like if it was like a football movie, okay, yeah, Bernie Mac looked like he could play some football. Like, I look at his build, I'm like, nah, man, you didn't play no baseball. No.
Yeah, I think Mr. 3000, to round it out, would be it. I think that'd be my 10.
Cool. That's a good list. That is a very, very good list.
Not bad.
Awesome. Well, that will wrap up this episode of the Original Jeek podcast. As always, I am your host, Rockinmrmagic. Thanks again to PR Pat Rhoads for joining me again. I can't wait to have him back on here, probably maybe around mid-season, see where our predictions are looking for, and probably after. I think we set a date for Avengers Endgame. So
that I'm going to hold you to that. Yes, that is a date.
Okay, so we're going to do that. Maybe and comment in the comment section here. So you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, however you're listening to this, let us know. Should we do a reaction to after we see Avengers Endgame? What are your predictions? What's going on? Let us know. Always, you can find us on Facebook at Jeek Nation. Find us on Twitter, again, at Jeek Nation. And until next time, peace.